welcome to Penby Photography. I am here over the period of 2 days taking pictures of small woodland birds, mainly blue tits, robins and finches, and a squirrel so far. Let's carry the video on and see if we get anything exciting. They're absolutely everywhere at the moment. Right, let's talk about how I'm doing this here. Now, different locations you got to treat differently. These birds here are wild birds. I'm in the middle of the forest, but they're fed every day by someone I don't know, but I know that there's a local that feeds them every day, and because of that, it has actually become quite popular with photographers, because the birds here are not tame, but they're certainly not bothered about your presence, even to the point, actually, the blue tits especially, which are like the cutest birds in the world, but they're like tiny little thugs. They come and check you out, so you don't have to hide at all. They want to come over and have a good old look. They're all round me, checking me out, which is fantastic. They got their little head feathers up, being all thuggish, saying, "Who are you?" And then they all disappear for a bit, and then they'll do their rounds, and they'll come on back and check you out again. It's fantastic. So I'm just perching here, I say quietly, but I'm talking to you at the moment, obviously, and just getting a few shots. Now, my camera is set on shutter speed priority, so if you're on Canon, that's TV. And I think I mentioned before, I've shot this over 2 days. So not yesterday, but a few days ago, I was shooting on 1/1000th of a second, which is great if you're baiting them, and so if you've created an area where you've put food down and they're going to chill out for a little bit and eat that food, then that is plenty. But if they are jumping around, it's okay, but I found that I'm trying 2,000ths of a second, but that does mean I'm in a dark wood at 2,000ths of a second. I want my aperture at quite a shallow depth of field. This is at 5.6 at the moment, but that's what the camera has chosen, and that's probably the fastest aperture I can have when I've got my 100 to 400 fully extended. Yeah, so that's probably the fastest aperture it would do at full extension. It gives me a lovely out of focus creamy background, so that's great. And then I've got my ISO on automatic, because there is absolutely no time to be mucking about. When they land and I want to capture it, you got to do it straight away. Now I'm sitting in a position that is comfortable to me, which I'm sort of crouching and perching on the edge of a tree, and they're perfectly tame, so it's okay. But I have broken up my silhouette, my shape a little bit with a tree behind me. I've done that on purpose, so they do know I'm here, but I'm not like sticking out like a sore thumb. And when I started the other day, I started in the car, using the car as my hide. And that's quite a good tip, but they were so tame. I got out the car and I discovered as I started walking around that it really isn't a problem just perching in the woods. And when I was in the car, I was having to shoot the pictures of them on posts that the people feed them on, which is fine, that's all right, but it's not very natural. And I personally prefer, and it's just a personal preference, them sort of within the forest, within the woodland, tinkering around doing what they would do. So I'm just a little bit away from where they're baited, and they keep coming over and checking me out, then going back to having something to eat, and then coming back here. They're always moving constantly. So actually I've sat here 5 minutes and they're here. I'm going to show you some of the pictures. I'll probably show you pictures as the video goes on. I've taken so many. I have got I'm shooting so I can do it continuously. So if I get it focused, hang on. Yeah. And that's not necessarily necessary. I personally think it's best to capture that moment, but they are so fast moving that you have to preempt what they're going to do, and even when you do that, you're going to miss it anyway. So sometimes it's best just to have a few shots, and you might even catch one flying off, who knows. Yes, so top tips for shooting these fast little birds: definitely over 1/1000th of a second, 800ths of a second minimum. At the moment I'm on 2,000ths of a second. I personally would put your ISO on automatic, and then yes, shoot in a very comfortable position. So I'm crouching down here, I rest my elbows on my knees, and I got my hand round my lens, and I move the back and keep this hand still rested on my leg as a tripod, and it's the way I personally like doing it. I hold my elbows close into my body as well, and that really holds me still, and that should help a lot. With these long lenses, if you're not going to have a tripod on, you really need to make sure your position is strong, because any tiny movement is a massive movement in the picture. And obviously if you're trying to focus on the tiniest little bird, preferably you're trying to get that little highlight in their eye, which will really make the picture come alive. It's very difficult. And also for me personally, quality's good, and obviously that's what you're going for, but quantity is what I do. The pictures you're going to see are edited out of a lot of pictures, and then the best ones I've picked out of a lot. But those pictures that I've taken are in a short period of time, but I've taken a lot of them, and you'll just seeing the ones that I like the best. So don't be afraid to just shoot off a load of shots and picking your favourite out. Photography is all about editing. We don't have to see every single photo. Let's see your best. Now, I I've just done the longest bit of talking that I think I've ever done, so if you're still with me, I'm very impressed. Let's get on and do a couple more shots and yeah, see how it goes. If you're not as fortunate as me to have a 100-400, but even with the 100-400, when I get these back into, I use Lightroom to edit them, my best tool is going to be the cropping tool. I don't think there'll be one picture that I don't crop, because it's just not going to be close enough. So don't be afraid to crop. Shoot on your best, if you've got RAW, maybe shoot on RAW, that's always good, but on your finest level in your camera, and yeah, be prepared to crop the pictures when you get back. But also keep in mind, I personally think a little bit of landscape around your subject is sometimes good as well. It's always nice to get the reflection of what's in their eyeball. That's great, fantastic. But with the right equipment, anyone can do that. If you can produce a fantastic picture with a little bit of their landscape around it to tell the narrative of their lives in your photograph, it will make it more interesting. So give that a go as well. So not just trying to get as close as possible, but also trying to get a bit of what's around them. Now, I have had a fantastic time here today. Or well, not day, but a little bit of time. So I am going to, I think we're at the end. Yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, then please like. It really helps my my channel. If you would like to, and you have really enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and press that little bell button as well. If you want to share, brilliant, that would help me out big time. But other than that, yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.